everybody, I'm Saha Tayyib, MedEd intern, and we interns are back with another video series, this time covering biostats. So if numbers scare you, don't worry, we got you covered. Let's go.
Okay, so in today's video, we will be talking about measures of central tendency and range. But before that, we should talk a little bit about what biostatistics mean. So biostatistics are statistical processes and methods that are applied to the collection, analysis, and interpretation of data. In our case, data that we generate from our researchers, trials, experiments. Now, these are just mere numbers and we want to extract useful information out of those numbers. So we will analyze them and interpret them using biostats. Right, now let's talk about what measures of central tendency are. So these include mean, median, and mode, and we'll talk about them using an example over here. So we have a group of 6 students appeared in an exam and they scored the following marks: 20, 20, 22, 23, 28, and 31. So now we will calculate mean, median, and mode. So mean is the average of a data set, and to calculate mean, it's really simple. We will add up all our values and divide by the total number of values. Our mean over here is 24. Median is the middle of set of numbers arranged in ascending or descending order. Now that's important that you arrange it in one of the orders. The thing about median is that if our data set values are odd in number, the middle value of a data set would be the median. Simple. But if the number of values in our data set is even, in this case, we have 6 values. So we will have 2 middle numbers, 22 and 23. So then we will have to add them together and then divide them by 2. And our median is going to be 22.5. Mode is the most repeated number in a data set. And in this data, we see 20 appears twice. Hence, it's the mode. Right. Measures of spread. So one of the measures of spread is the range, and it's really simple. We're using the same example over here to calculate range. So range is the difference between the highest and the lowest values in a data set. In this data, 31 is the highest and lowest is 20. When we subtract those two, we get 11, and that's our range. Right. Now that was really simple, but in practice, we have a lot of numbers to deal with, and we can't really sit down and use a calculator. We can to calculate our mean, median, mode, but it's a very tedious task. So we have applications like Microsoft Office, SPSS, Google Sheets to help us with these calculations. And so now I'll show you these calculations in Excel. Here is a sample data that I collected from my class. Okay, so here is our Excel sheet. And so Microsoft Office, a quick intro into it is a spreadsheet software wherein we can organize our data in rows and columns. Our columns are labeled by alphabets over here on top, as you can see, and our rows are labeled by number. And each box over here represents a cell, and each cell has a cell label, name, or a reference. So this highlighted box over here lies in column A, row 1, hence it's called cell A1. And now this is important because all of the functions that we will apply to calculate our measures of central tendency, we will be using our cell names and not values within the cell. Also, another thing is that in Excel, all the formulas begin with an equal to sign. So let's see over here. So this is my sample data, and I will be calculating our measures of central tendency, and my data of interest is just height. So I want to know the mean of heights in this data set. So I'll begin with equal to average. And because mean is average of a data set, then I'll open up parentheses and select my data using my cursor. So I'm going to be selecting all the way starting from this cell down to this cell. Now, as you can see, automatically over here, we have the cell range comment there. But if you want, you can type this out manually as well. I find this way easier. Now I'm going to press enter and we find the mean. Median, similarly, begin with an equal to sign, type in median, open your parentheses, select your data range, select and drag your data range, and close your parentheses, enter, you get your median. So mode is really simple. We'll start with equal to, type in mode, select your data range, close your parentheses, press enter. There's a mode. Now to calculate range, there is no direct function as such in Excel. So we know that range is difference between the highest and the lowest values. So we can find the highest and the lowest values. So we'll begin with finding our maximum value. So equal to max, bracket, select your data range, close your parentheses, enter, that's your highest value. We'll find our lowest value, again using equal to min, bracket, or parentheses, select my data, close my parentheses, enter, so that's my minimum value. Now, we know what our values are, we just need to subtract them. So again, in Excel, we're only dealing with cell numbers, cell names in our functions and the formulas we apply, not the values. So range will be equal to cell name containing my maximum value minus cell name containing my minimum value. You can just select it or type it out, either way, and click enter, and that is your range. And that was about it. It was really simple, saves a lot of time, and hopefully you enjoyed.
Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment below any questions.